Hi, my name is Jenny Lynn Patterson-LaCour, and I am the founder and CEO of Jenny Lynn Fitness, home of Sweat. I've been an aquatic fitness instructor in NYC for the last 2 decades, and I'm currently working on launching my Sweat certificate program.
And I'm AJ Myers from Made by Myers. I specialize in podcast production, web design, branding, and business development. And you're listening to the Aquaholics Bootcamp.
We created this podcast to interview guests who inspire and motivate us within the aquatic fitness industry and beyond. Each episode, we'll chat with them about what they're working on professionally, as well as get to know them a little bit better personally.
So let's dive on in.
Joining us today is Katy Coffey. She's the Senior Director of Aquatics for the YMCA of Greater Boston and has been working in the aquatic fitness industry for over 20 years. In addition to being a master trainer and format expert with Aqua Body Strong, Katy is a lifeguard instructor trainer for both the American Red Cross as well as the YUSA and a faculty member for YSL. All that, and she's one of our favorite people to follow on social media. So without further ado, Katy, welcome to the program.
Thanks, guys. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So happy you accepted.
Yes, thank you, Katy. Where are you actually calling in from?
So I am north of Boston in a great little quaint town called Beverly, Massachusetts. But it's just about 30 minutes post-COVID drive from Boston. The traffic has been wonderful since the COVID pandemic.
Oh, man.
Oh, I can imagine.
Usually it was about an hour and a half drive before that.
Wow.
So obviously, this pandemic has affected people in different ways. How have you been affected?
In many ways, I feel like our world has been flipped upside down. And then in many ways, I feel like it's definitely improved. Obviously, everything had to shut down. So my job as the Senior Director of Aquatics is I work with the 13 branches in our association, and we have about 27 bodies of water.
Wow.
All of them got shut down, right? Those are that was inevitable, and our entire organization started flipping into how do we stream in health and wellness in the digital world. Mm-hmm. For me, though, I'm a fish. My pools got shut down, and I was less chlorinated than normally. So personally, I was doing a lot of teaching on the side out of my normal full-time job. And so unfortunately, I have not been able to see my dedicated group of ladies. They call themselves the Aqua Divas, and I miss them very, very dearly. Oh. But in addition, I also do some health and wellness coaching online. That increased dramatically because everybody was desperate for something. Mm-hmm. And so being able to help a whole bunch of people from around the country working with digital fitness has increased. So it's been an interesting few months. Let's put it that way.
Yes, you are pivoting well.
Yes, we're trying. We're trying to make do.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that you are a fish because seeing your social media pictures of you in your full-on wetsuit in the lake. Is it a lake ocean? Wait.
So I live a block from the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes. I mean, that is a true mermaid. I mean, 100%. 100%. I really love those posts. But on that note, being that you are a fish, you mentioned this, and I'm sure you've been swimming most of your life, but what is your background? How did you actually find yourself becoming involved with aquatic fitness?
So I started my aquatic industry about 20-something years ago, and doing the lifeguarding, the swim lessons, the aquatic manager, the head lifeguard. And I started my career with the Y about 13 years ago, full time. And it started as just being a program director. And I'm the type of person who I don't like not being able to sub if my staff suddenly can't show up, because it ends up being more stressful trying to find somebody to cover.
Oh, yes.
One of the things that I kind of prided myself in is whatever I was in charge of, I was going to figure it out on how I could teach it. And so when the aquatics department really fell under me, because I had the experience in lifeguarding and teaching, there was this wonderful thing called aqua aerobics in the corner. And I was like, I have no idea what to do with that group because you could only find one instructor who could actually do it.
Wow.
And she ended up being my mentor, the instructor. Her name was Marley. She was a trainer for the United States Water Fitness Association. So she said, well, why don't I train you? And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And so I did it. And I loved it because they were such a rewarding group of people. And then along as my career continued to grow and aquatics ended up being the main focus of what we did, there was the opportunity and I took over a pool and they had 2 teachers and it was the same routine every single day and all of the ladies hated it, but they liked the instructor because she showed up religiously for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what started from that was me starting to have a conversation that said, I think we can be more than just our standard aerobics. Why don't we start to really trend towards fitness? And the instructor didn't like it and she quit on the spot. And I was like, oh no. And suddenly I was teaching 5 days a week, 2 hours each day. And I had never fully taught besides just the occasional subbing. And I faked it till we made it. I had a land Zumba class training and I had my water fitness and I was like, I can make something work. And the ladies loved it. And we just laughed and I failed often and it was great. But I asked questions and I sent out polls to the ladies. Aww. And they were so honest, but they were honest because they knew they were being listened to for the first time.
Mm.
And we went from having 15 people to 50 people in a probably period of 6 months. Wow. And really stepping up the way we do it. And then I loved it. This was like, I want to do this the rest of my life. This is the most rewarding part of my job. This clients, I love them. So that is really what launched me into water fitness is where I believe we as the health and fitness industry really need to be focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You and Jenny have a very similar story in how you were kind of both thrown into the water, no pun intended.
Yep.
But you also, in addition to that, you share a strong desire to change the stigma that's associated with aquatic fitness. In fact, you're using certain and very specific words. What started off as perhaps an aerobics class has now become a water fitness class.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that and what you think it's needed so much?
So one of the things that I was trained originally on is to understanding that there's power in the title of what you call your class.
Mm-hmm.
And as I really started to dive into that, when you call it a general aerobics class, what is the very first thing you think of? And it's usually nanas with noodles having a good time, socializing some,
Mm-hmm.
or by that I mean a lot, but sort of moving.
Yeah.
And I brought this to a group of operations directors and I challenged them. So I said, let me ask you a question. If I ask you to think of the word aerobics, what do you think of? And they go, oh, 80s, Richard Simmons, step aerobics, spandex, all of these things. I said, great. And I said, now if I tell you the word HIIT or Tabata, what do you think? And they were like, oh, well, you think of fitness and health and many different levels and and they started going into it. And then they stopped and I said, now tell me what you think of when you hear aqua aerobics. And they all went right back to nanas with noodles and people talking and the meanest members in our groups and the ones who complain the most. And I said, exactly,
Mm-hmm.
because they know they're the most underserved.
Yep.
And so I really feel passionate that when we get into water fitness is where we start to bridge that gap of where the health and wellness industry is missing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So well said.
I mean, this is part of the reason that I think I was so drawn to you when we first worked together. Oh my gosh, how long ago was that?
2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3, something like that.
I just remember you were so enthusiastic and so passionate, and I could tell because I am kind of OCD in the sense that I pay attention to people's words, but the way you talk about things and the words that you choose to use was so distinct and selective that I was like, she feels the way I feel. And then cut to, we've definitely kept in contact and you're more heavily involved with the AEA and you are doing all these things, but you really got behind kind of what I feel about my sweat program and making sure that people understand that, yes, there's a place for every single person in the aquatic industry.
Mhm.
There's a place for all of it. And we need different types of classes for every single type of population we serve. But this is a format that's been so unappreciated for so many years that until we're seen more in the social media light and represented in a way that's like, this is a format that deserves equal opportunity, so to speak, because, you know, as I've said to many, many, many people, because I get frustrated with some of the managers who aren't backing, you know, the aquatic programming. I tell them all the time, you would never let someone go into a yoga class more than halfway through and just like keep talking on their cell phone, throw out their mat, chug some water, you know, like it wouldn't happen. And so within the water industry, you have to give that, you know, equal
respect.
Yeah.
It's a respect
absolutely.
thing.
It's a respect thing.
Yep, absolutely.
And, you know, Jenny has clients ranging from early 20s to late 90s. And just because there's an age difference doesn't mean necessarily that you can't provide an equally as intense and full-bodied workout. And you need to be able to offer both.
Yep.
And so as we were talking about branding and what words to use and how to present yourself, it's so important that people who come from aquatic fitness accept and understand that there is that stigma and then work against it, actively work against it.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think that just simple things like changing what you call it. If you're calling generic aqua size or aqua aerobics, I want to challenge the groups to say, well, what's the purpose of this particular class? Is it muscle conditioning? Is it full body fitness? Is it cardio conditioning? Tell me what I should be expecting, and then start to think about what's the point of the class. And that starts really getting managers to think about it with a little bit different of a lens.
I love it. I'm so happy you're in the position you're in. So happy. You mentioned that you have 2 rules for how water instructors change the dynamics in their classes. I'm very interested about this. What are they?
So I have 2 rules, and I let the ladies know every single time. My 2 rules are your feet always need to be moving faster than your mouths. And if you don't want your hair wet, don't come to the pool. And that usually ruffles some feathers, but it kind of sets the role of what my day is going to look like with them. And I would say 70% still keep their hair dry. I'm actually pretty impressed with their ability to keep their hair dry.
Right.
But more and more of our clients throughout each week are starting to wear their wet hair with a badge of honor. And I like, especially when they figure out that they can tread, or they can figure out they can go under, come up, gasp for breath, and keep going.
Yep.
That's a big win for me.
Your feet have to move faster than your mouth.
Yep.
Man, that's going to go over so well in my arthritis class. I can't even wait.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That's probably a class not to do it in. But.
Yeah. Jenny always used to say, you know, if you're talking, you're not breathing.
Yep.
And good luck with that, you know, because when you're getting a high intensity, you know, interval workout and you're doing this, you need to breathe.
Yeah.
And if you're able to talk, then you're not working hard enough.
Oh, gosh, no.
Absolutely.
No. The only words that you should be able to mutter are like,
I need water.
I need water. Yes. Now, you're a strong advocate for better collaboration between gym owners and instructors,
Yes.
which is amazing, in particular getting support. Can you kind of expand on that a little more?
Sure. I think that one of the things that I have found, regardless if it's land, fitness, or water, is sometimes the instructor is an advocate for themselves and their students, but not understanding the nature of the facility. And I think that there's a fine line between that. And what I have learned over the years, because the water fitness in the aqua world is often so poorly understood, that sometimes it can be a very us versus them scenario. And I mentioned it before that often your stereotypical clientele are very angry, but they're angry because they know that they're underutilized and they're underserved.
Yeah.
And so trying to help them understand that as an instructor, you work for that facility, but you work with that facility.
Mm-hmm.
And by working with the facility to help create change and not necessarily being like, oh, I'm going to sick all of them toe and I'm going to make all of them angry and then send them to the manager, because that drives the manager insane.
Yes.
Being the manager, I've been there before.
Yeah.
And often it's a vicious game of telephone of one person said this, who said this, when all of a sudden you're emptying the pool and turn it into a parking lot. And so what I found is because I do work in fitness centers that is not my full-time job, I try exceptionally hard to try to bring the manager on board with me and help introduce the manager to our students, and then speak to them of, have you thought of this, and not being the villain and being on the other side. And I find that more change can happen that way. You have to be a little more patient, and it's definitely not an instant you get what you want immediately if you throw a hissy fit.
True.
But change can happen, and change can happen with the numbers behind your classes, the support from your members. But you speaking to the members, of helping them also understand the greater needs of the whole building. Sometimes they forget that too.
Mm-hmm.
So just working together as a team is going to be the best way to create change in your facility.
And it's really important too, coming from someone like yourself who has been on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can really take a really deep look into it and give very sound advice. And I really appreciate you talking about that, because it's a huge topic for so many instructors.
And I think there's a time and a place for everything. There has been times where I will put my foot down.
Yeah.
And this is for either my safety or my student safety. For example, we had some new management at one of the facilities I worked at, and really quickly there was some change. And they thought it was exceptionally valid point to just take a lane away from us when we had already been using 6 out of our 8 lanes, and throw some 3-year-old preschoolers in for swim lessons who were super excited, and loud music and everybody being crammed in next to 3-year-olds screaming isn't a great fix, right?
No.
And so there's definitely a time and place that you have to be like, look, by pushing that class back by 15 minutes, we can serve more members this way. So I kind of have to bring it to make them think about the financial gains on serving both sides of the community.
Right.
And then if they don't listen, then maybe you can sick them at it.
No, but it's true with managers and things like that. You really have to give it to them in dollar signs, because that's the only way they're going to be like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So yeah, it makes sense. You have to be strategic.
Yep.
So on a lighter note, being that you are a very versatile instructor, and that's unbelievably amazing, what would be your favorite format to teach? And also, what would be your favorite class to take for yourself?
Oh, that's a tough one. So my biggest crowds come to my Aqua Zumba classes. And I have a lot of fun with that, because you can just ham it up and perform and have a great time. That being said, I love teaching Tabata, because Tabata, don't tell anybody this as I say it on a broadcast, sometimes I can make it up on the spot.
Yes. Oh, girl, I am the queen of freestyle, pulling it out of my swimsuit that day. Understand.
Exactly. So for me, like, Zumba takes a little bit of effort beforehand, because you need to just know your choreography and your music. Where Tabata, if I can just put a Tabata sound pat track on, be like, we're just going to do Tabata today. We don't need any equipment. I can destroy them. I got enough stuff in my back pocket.
Exactly. I mean, that's the beauty of Tabatas, because you're just hitting it all out, and it's killer. It doesn't even matter what move you're doing. It's intense.
My classes also know that if I ate really unhealthy the week before, that they were going to pay for it. And class is going to be exceptionally difficult that week. So whenever I come back for vacation, they're like, how many cookies did you have? And I'm like, they'll find out in just a few minutes.
Yep. Post-Thanksgiving workouts are the worst for students of Jenny's.
Oh, man. Absolutely. So in that case, I guess, what would be your favorite type of class to take for yourself?
All right, so ready. Here comes some brown nose around here. I actually love classes like the way that you've done it. But I like the classes where I am going to learn. I love strength training, whether you're using different formats of materials, and just I want to come out huffing and puffing and being like, I don't know what just happened to me.
You are such a hard worker. I have to say, I've had you in my class. Well, I loved when you and your friends came to my class here in New York. That was absolutely amazing. And I will completely confess that I was nervous. I mean, we all get the pre-jitter class thing, because you're going up there and that sort of thing. You're trying to remember your material. But like knowing all of you girls were going to be there and you had these expectations, I was like, oh, I got to perform. I really got to do something good here. And of course, the day they show up is like a packed class. It was fun.
Oh, it just made it more fun that way.
Absolutely. But you worked your butt off. Your whole face was red. Your arms were red. Everything was working. It was amazing to watch.
Oh, I loved it. It was so fun. We had a girls' weekend, and the rule was everyone got to choose one thing that they had to do, that the whole group had to say yes to. And so, we're doing the Empire State Building, we're doing this, and I'm like, we're going to go to the pool. I was that friend that made them bring their bathing suits and go get their butt handed to them in a water workout. It was awesome.
On a Saturday morning, which I freaking loved. You're like, this is my activity. Let's go.
We had a great time.
This makes me miss the pool so much.
I know. So close. We're so close.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Well, Katy, let me ask you, speaking of a butt-kicking format, you use some equipment. Jenny, I know that you use them in some of your classes, the Aquatics combat gloves.
Yeah.
Which we absolutely love. And you have that as part of Abs Aqua Combat?
Yes. So I'm super excited to announce that coming in, I hope in the next month, we're just waiting on some finalized things. We are launching a brand new aquatic format called ABS Combat.
Nice.
And it was something that I pitched to the company. And so all of those pictures of me investing in a wetsuit in 41-degree water was because I needed to test it and I didn't have pool to my use. And I am so excited. We did our live taping last week.
Oh, wow.
And what we're excited about is that the ABS Aqua Combat format, it's a pre-choreographed martial arts HIIT training class. And so what it does is it takes rounds. We've created a 12-round series. That lasts about 52-ish minutes. And what you're doing is you're blending high intensity aqua fitness with many mixed martial arts formats in between. And it's super fun and it's so empowering and you feel like you want to just kick everybody's butt at the end of it because you're so amped up.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to see how it's gonna come out, and then it's coming soon, so I'm very excited about it.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't look like I'm going to be in a pool anytime soon, so I might just have to come up there to get my butt kicked.
You should. We're going to be launching the online portal first because we understand that most people can't get into a live training anytime soon. But what's unique about it is we created the format around the aquatics gloves, but we also understand that gyms aren't spending money on things. And so we were able to develop it that you can also use your mitts or no hands at all in the interim, and knowing that every instructor will get a better benefit out of it using the gloves. But in the meantime, working with their students, they can just use the inertia in the water and the velocity of how you're moving.
Right.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, I am so pumped. Those gloves are amazing. I can't wait to see what this is all about. So yeah. It actually goes into my next question, which is, what does the future of aquatic fitness look like for you? And, what are you taking it to next?
Well, there's a lot of things. So I partner with Aqua Body Strong. So I'm a master trainer in their stand-up fitness. They're launching their trampoline soon, which is super exciting. But I also have the pleasure right now of interning with AEA. And so I'm hoping that I can continue that process with them. I was very sad that we didn't get to go to Daytona this year.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe next year.
Yeah.
My hope is, and where I would love to be, if given the perfect world in front of me, is being able to help create change in the water fitness industry and really helping fitness centers understanding that this is the most underutilized part of their building and how many more members they could serve by really helping us change that stigma of water fitness. Yeah. And so that's where I would love to be at this point. COVID has changed things a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when the pools do open. And then in addition, my hope is I'm kind of working on my own brand right now.
Yes.
And still playing around with some things, but doing more of a strength training and HIIT format. So we'll see. Hopefully that can come into fruition at some point in my life. But
I love that.
You are such a hard worker. You're going to make that happen.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I can't wait for Katy to be a sweat instructor because it's going to be pure dominance. It's going to be amazing.
Whenever I can come back, I'm in. Sign me up, girl.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
So, Katy, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
We're going to post, places where people can reach you, but can you tell our listeners where they can find out more about what you're doing, perhaps the ABS Aqua Combat class, and to follow your journey?
Sure. My social media is Aquafit Kate, and it's Kate at the end. My website's currently in construction, so at some point it'll be back up, and it is aquafitkate.com. If you're looking for more details about the combat format that will be coming out, Aqua Body Strong is the company that oversees most of that, so you can go ahead and take a look there and follow me on social media. I love to update and just have lots of fun on there because I think we need a lot more silver lining in this world, let's put it that way.
Absolutely. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. And I definitely am looking forward to being in your pool soon.
Oh, you should come. And hopefully we'll get the pools open soon.
Yay.
Yay.
I have a feeling you're going to be before me, so that's why I'm coming up north.
Come on up.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Katy. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you both for bringing in. It's been an honor.
For more content like this, go to jennylinfitness.com/podcast.
And please rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your audio content.
Thank you so much for listening and stay hydrated.